Okay guys, we're making a short video on initial product review. We bought a Husky 6-inch palm sander for the air compressor to make doing paint jobs easy, to go with the Black Widow obviously. And for the Black Widow we set up like this because we got an air dryer on the bottom with a pressure regulator, air dryer, oil and water filter, and then also that's right before it goes out the gun. That's a good way to set up if you're a little nervous about oil and water coming out the gun. But I also use this big oil and water trap. You get these over at the Harbor Freight if they still sell them. If they don't, they have other ones that have big air dryers and filters for bigger setup. But we're also not only going to do the year on this once we get there, but we got a product review that's going to be sooner with the House of Color, because we're going to be spraying House of Color paint, which is supposed to be one of the other top brands of paints. We got some Blue Pearl here, and hardeners and catalyst and slow reducer and all that good stuff. So if you want a little more time to work with paint, use the slow reducer, not the medium or fast, because it'll give you a little more time between dry flash time. From my understanding is that's what that'll do from this product. So we will be using that, and like I said, we have the PPS system by the Spectrum company. I don't know if they call it the PPS like 3M, but we bought the cheaper system because it's pretty much looked the same to me. Maybe there's a difference in quality, not sure. But we bought this today because I'm getting tired of hand sanding with my little 3M block when I'm trying to do this. I'm doing a sample panel for the client with 3 different silvers against a gloss black, but as you can see, I'm cheating the gloss black with this. I recommend you use this because I tried the automotive enamel, but it didn't have the high output tip with the big finger hold, and what was happening is I was spraying when it was super humid and hot, and I was getting droplets on my panel. But I've never had a problem with this Rust-Oleum, this high performance enamel for commercial grade. 15-minute fast dry, so you got a 15-minute window flash time, which I believe was basically telling me they have a fast reducer in here, something to speed it up a little, a catalyst or a fast reducer. And I use this because I was getting droplets, and this panel I've sprayed like 5 times, trying to just get it to where when I spray the 3 samples of the silver, you can see it against the gloss black for the client. Tomorrow I have to buff this out and polish it. After I'm done with all this stuff, I'm gonna basically buff this whole panel and cut and buff it, so that way it looks like glass. You can see here, I'll show you guys, even though I'm not super happy, but I'm filling in some scratches because I didn't have any 320 wet sand. I had 220 wet sand, so we're working with what we got for the sample panel. But obviously on the car, we're not going to do anything under a 320, and then we will cut and buff with a 2 to 4,000 or 6,000 grit. We might go 2,4 and then 6,000 on the wet sand, and then we'll sit here, cut and polish it. And I've gone all the way to 6,000 on some motorcycle tanks when I was younger. I sprayed them with some Rust-Oleum metallic. I cut them down with a 6,000 grit, and then I used a triple aught or steel wool, and I buffed it down, and then from there I would glass them over with some clear coat, and they would look like glass. I mean, no orange peel, just smooth as a baby's butt. And that was with some Rust-Oleum, because motorcycle tank, I mean, I'm not going to go off. Most people aren't going to go off for such a small item, and you know, on a personal bike, and just blow a ton of money on paint when you can just spray a tank with one can. I mean, if you're not wanting to use Rust-Oleum, you guys can go to your local paint store, and most of them will mix up paint into a rattle can for you with a fan spray if you want to go that route. You can see there's orange peel, there's some flaws, but see they're in the shimmer. But we will buff all of that out. That's just orange peel. We've gotten most of the scratches filled in. What we haven't, when we do our third and fourth and fifth coat, we will fill it all in best we can, and then we're just basically cheating the top of this because the client did not buy the black. He's only curious how he wants the silver to look. So he wants plain silver, silver with the pearl in the paint, and then silver with the pearl and the clear over the paint. And we're going to see what the difference in looks is going to be. And we'll even do a video on that. But we just have it leaned here. We got some plastic taped up so we don't spray our garage. And I leaned it here so maybe to keep from the droplets, because I was trying to spray it laying on the ground, which wasn't working out good either, because then that allows stuff to drip down on it. So pointer is to not sand with 220, use 320 to begin with on your build-up primer, and then don't use the automotive Rust-Oleum like I thought would work better, because the tip just isn't the best. So I recommend probably using this if you're going to cheat it. This is the same as what you get in the quart can that most people spray cars with anyway. And you know, we're just not, I didn't want to waste one of the PPS cups just to do a sample panel on the black. We're obviously going to have to load up a cup for the silver because it's not in a rattle can. But and you can't have it in a rattle can because you got to kind of judge how much pearl you're going to put in. And the pearls are mixed very little, guys. Like, you don't want to put but maybe 1/4 of a teaspoon in to start, and then build up from there, because sometimes you can overdo the pearl and then it'll just look like crap because it'll overpower what you're trying to do. The gentleman wants silver. He doesn't want to see the blue till you walk up on it, so it's got to be super light. So that's what we're working on. Anywho, anyhow, anyway, yeah, lots and lots of fun stuff. And it's, I don't know, probably about 11:30 in the middle of the night right now. So that's what we're dealing with. We're trying to just basically get this black to lay smoother than it was, because I was getting like some weird, like, I didn't let it dry when I washed it all the way, and I think the water was coming through the oil paint, and it was making it look like cracked, dried out skin. So we just wet sanded the crap out of it again, and we're building up paint. All right, guys, you have a good night, peace and prosperity, and have a good life.